Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary with the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Gary Owen, Get Some podcast. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room. I'm in New York City right now. I'm at the City Winery this weekend, but it's already sold out. So if you want to get tickets, you can get on the wait list. We did at a Sunday show at 2 o'clock. I tell you, man, these last couple months, the ticket sales have really jumped through the roof. We set the record in Sacramento. We did 12. I got DC coming up in 3 weeks, and I've already sold out 11. I've sold out 10 of 11 shows. Atlanta is next week. We've already sold out 4 of the 6. We went into Sunday. I wasn't there with Sunday. Oh, and for those of you that are wondering, not wondering, but I'll just share, I'm finally going to do 85 South. So I get to Atlanta next Thursday, and normally 85 South records on Tuesdays, but they're going to come in, and so I can finally get on 85 South. I've been trying to do it for a long time. Every time I see DC or Carlos or Chico, I'm like, oh, when can I come to the hood? When can I come to the ghetto? So I'm going to be on 85 South coming up. Tomorrow, I'll be on the Breakfast Club in the morning, and I can't wait to see how that goes with Lauren and Jess and Charlemagne and Envy. We got a lot to talk about. So, yeah, I got some big things coming. Bengals football season's back. It's just, it's great right now. Life's great. But back to the ticket sales, man. I've always done good. I've been doing good for the last 10, 15 years. I'm, doing pretty good selling tickets, but not like this. I used to always go to comedy club websites or Ticketmaster, and you see people coming, and then sometimes, especially on comedy websites, you'll see like the calendar they'll show the month, and you'll see people that are either coming the week before you, week after you, and you'll see they're sold out, and you're like, dang, that dude or that chick is selling tickets. And to see my name now selling tickets and adding shows and selling so far in advance, it's what you work for as a comedian for so long. And last week I was in Greenville, South Carolina. I got a couple stories to tell about Greenville, but I got a phone call from my agent, my manager. That was the biggest phone call of my career. I can't divulge yet what it is. We will. And it could be a month, could be 2 months before I'm allowed to talk about this phone call. But it's the phone call as a comedian that made me just do this on the phone. No way! Oh my God! I'm yelling downtown Greenville, South Carolina. And as I'm getting the greatest phone call I've ever gotten in my life, this was a better phone call than any movie, any TV show, any comedy gig I've ever gotten. I'll just put it like that. It's the best phone call I've ever gotten as professionally in my life. As I'm getting the phone call, and my agent manager calls me as I'm just kind of walking around Greenville in the middle of the day, a guy comes up, and this is what I tell people all the time. If somebody's on the phone, leave them alone, because you don't know what they're going through. It could be bad. This was good. This was a great phone call. It was a moment that I've dreamt about numerous nights when I started doing this stand-up business, and a guy just didn't care. He just wanted to come up and get a picture and would not. He started following me, and I'm putting my hand up like, come on. And I don't know if he was trying to talk to me or also, but I had to keep walking away from him. He kept following me, and I'm going, dude, just today, this moment, I just so happen I'm walking around when the phone call comes, and he sees me. I'm just so pumped, and he just didn't want to leave me alone. I'm like, dude, not today. It was a phone call that made me reflect on my entire life of being in a trailer park, being raised by a very abusive stepfather, an absentee father, my divorce, my relationship with my kids, and how it's gotten better with my son, but I'm still working on with my daughter. Like, everything just runs through your brain when you get a phone call like this. And you almost got to take a deep breath and be like, wow. That's all I'm going to say. And we'll make the announcement next couple months. Could be next week. Could be in 2 months. But we're going to make the announcement. And it's big, especially for me. I can't wait. I went to my room and cried by myself. Happy tears. Yeah. It was a last Friday was a great day. I'll just put it like this. So this is where life gives you checks and balances. I have a great day. Great phone call. Life-changing phone call. It's just pumped. So I'm in Greenville, and Saturday night comes, and this guy comes up to me after my show, and he's got about 10 years ago, I was in Dallas, Texas, and I signed, I think, 10,000 Panini game cards. They're similar like baseball cards, but they're for comedians. And I just sat in my room, and I got paid, but I just sat there for like 5 hours, just boom, signing. And he had one of the cards in his pocket, and he had me and Paul Wall were the cards that he had. And he goes, hey man, is this you? Is this you? And I was like, yeah, it's me. He goes, so you signed this? I go, yeah, it's legit. He goes, I was wondering when I bought it if it was legit. So then he goes to my opener, Rob, and says, yo, I got 2 microphones in my car. Do you think Gary will sign them? And Rob calls me and said, yeah, Gary. He said, yeah, I don't think of mine. He calls me, and my hotel was right across the street from the comedy club. So I'm already back in my room. And Rob said, hey man, that last guy that you signed, that showed you the card at the meet and greet, he goes, he's got these 2 microphones. Can you sign them? Sorry. He goes, he just walked to go get them. I said, yeah, no problem. So I hang up. Not less than 2 minutes later, Rob calls me. He goes, yo, that guy that wanted you to sign the 2 microphones, he's on the sidewalk. He's knocked out. I go, huh? He goes, dude, they're giving him CPR. I run down there. And sure enough, less than a block from my hotel, there's the guy with the 2 microphones, and they're just giving him CPR nonstop for about 15 minutes. They put him in the ambulance. He takes off, and I'm like, what happened? Did he get knocked out? Did he get robbed? What? Well, we don't know. There's some blood on the sidewalk. The 2 microphones are just sitting there. The police got the police tape all around it. The next morning, I get a DM from a guy that said, hey, my best friend went to your show last night and he died this morning. He goes, I'm glad, or he died last night. He goes, I'm glad he went out laughing. And I went, no. So I DM'd him back. I said, oh my God, dude, I saw them giving him CPR. I go, do you know what happened? And he was like, well, he had heart problems last year. They're thinking it's a heart attack. So it's just wild to me that the guy left my show to go get these microphones, and he has a we're assuming it's a heart attack. And it doesn't, listen, people dying sucks. I don't care if you're 102. I don't care if you're 2. It sucks when people die. But we're all going to. And I think not knowing how he died and seeing him give him CPR and seeing blood like on the sidewalk that he must have fell face first, it is a little less of a blow, I think, to the family that he died of a heart attack or however he died, whatever it was. It wasn't somebody jumped him. It wasn't something violent. It was nothing but, you could say natural causes. We don't know, but at least that nobody else was involved and it wasn't no criminal activity as to how he died. So it's weird to say you feel better about it, but I did feel like, oh, okay. At least if I'm his mom, dad, and I think he had 2 boys, because the friend sent me a picture of him in New York a couple months ago. I guess he was here. I think if it's my dad or a friend or a son, I think that is an easier way to wrap your brain around than somebody else having something to do with it. So to the guy that came, man, to his family and friends, I'm sorry this happened. The show was great. He was in good spirits. So I just wanted to know, I'm thinking of him. God, it's just been as much as I'm hyping up, like, oh, I got so much going on and I'm so excited about my career and everything. It's just like the lady passing away a couple months ago, or the lady passing away last month. And, you know, the video that we posted of her husband coming to my show and the GoFundMe went through the roof. Like, it went nuts. I think he ended up with like 14,000 on his GoFundMe. And then he sent me a message talking about how many people showed up at the celebration of life and everything. So that made me feel good. But then this happens. This guy dies leaving my show. I've had a couple deaths in my career that were, you just wonder, like, wow. It's weird. I don't want to make it about me, but it's like, damn, I was the last person to see him. Or they left. Like, I had my boy Devin, who was my barber and stylist back in Cincinnati back in 2016. His last Instagram post is him in my house. And he brought me some clothes to look at. And that was probably the best time I had fashion, is when my guy Devin was dressing me out of Cincinnati. Like, he just had a nice eye for clothes and clothes that I was comfortable wearing and things like that. And yeah, I miss that dude. But he came over, brought some clothes, and he got in a motorcycle accident an hour after he left my house. And I was like, I remember somebody called me and said, Devin died. I go, on a motorcycle accident? I said, that's impossible. He just left my house. He was in his car. And he lived like 30, 45 minutes from me. So that means he had to go home and just hop on his motorcycle and wreck shortly after. That one hit home. Thomas Howard from the Bengals. I remember he came to my show in San Francisco. His last tweet was hanging with Gary Owen. And then he died after he left my show. He dropped his girlfriend off, and then he got in a car wreck, and 2 people died in the car wreck. And I remember my flight was like at 6 a.m. and it was 6 a.m. San Francisco time. And when I landed that afternoon in Cincinnati, my phone was just blowing up. And there was text messages and voicemails. Tell me you're right. Tell me you're right. Well, the only news report was 2 people died in a car wreck. And one of them was Thomas Howard. They didn't say he hit another car. So the guy in the other car died. And so people thought it was me because the last tweet was there. And it was just like, man, that's 3 instances where Thomas Howard, my buddy Devin, and now this guy, like Thomas and this guy leaving my show, and then Devin leaving my house. And it sounds like really morbid, like 3 people died, but I've been doing stand-up for 28 years. And it's just an odd occurrence that has happened. Yeah, it's just odd. And you know, that funeral post I did with helping that guy out, cover the cost of the cremation and stuff. It brings out the best and worst in people on social media. It brings out the best because I've had so many people just sending positive messages to me. Like, even in New York on Sunday, there's a group of firemen coming, and the guy messaged me. He's like, yo, I've been a fan, But that video that you did for that husband, he goes, it just sealed the deal. He goes, I called some of my fireman buddies. I said, we got to support this guy when he comes in town. And they bought 6 tickets to the show on Sunday. So I can't wait to meet them, just shake their hand, say hi to them. But that's the good. The bad is, I don't want to say bad, but it's just not the right time. Is when people go, hey, I saw you helped out the guy with his wife. Can you help me with this? And I'm going, the reason I helped that man in Modesto, California, in Sacramento, is because he didn't ask. He just sent me a message saying, hey, we already had the tickets. Me and my wife was coming to the show. She passed away. I'm still going to go in honor of her, basically. And so that was very organic, not really planned. It was just I got on stage. I do this Q&A at the end of my shows sometimes. And you guys saw an edited version of what happened. I was already taking questions. Like, you guys got any questions? And then I just went, hey, I got a message from a guy. And we caught it on camera. And it was such a great, organic, wholesome moment. And I knew it was something I would like to see if I was scrolling through social media. But when people ask, like, hey, my car payment's late, or I got child support, or things like that, I'm like, dude, I'm a stranger. This guy that I helped out didn't ask for anything. And in fact, he was supporting my career. So in that aspect, I'm going to support him. And it was just one of the things that happened. It just happened. I don't want to say enjoy it, but just watch it. And if you get something out of it, great. But don't think that's your opportunity to be like, hey, since you are giving money away, can you give me some? That's really what you're saying. It just wasn't the right time. The timing with everything in life is about timing. And it's not the right time. So in that aspect, it brought out the not best in people, but some people send me messages, and it's interesting. They don't realize they've already sent me the same message. I've had a guy ask me for money, and he didn't even realize he shared that same story like a year before. And I went, does he realize I got a message already from him? And he just basically cut and pasted it. So that's why I have a hard time giving to charities. Because I don't know where the money's going. Now, if I know where the money's going, I'll do that. But just to give to a blanket charity, I often wonder, where's the money going? So I try to give a scholarship to, I never forget, 8 years ago, I went back to my high school and I wanted to start a foundation in my name and a scholarship and stuff. And then I didn't want to just give a scholarship. I wanted to know who the kid was and get to know him and meet him and see him all the way through school. I was going to give this kid a full ride through college. And he was a smooth talker. He talked me into it, basically, like by the stuff he was going to do and things that were important to him in his life. And then, as soon as I said I'm going to give him the scholarship, he got accepted to a university in Columbus, Ohio, not Ohio State. And it was like 2 weeks later, he hit me up. He goes, hey, orientation's next week, and it's at 8 a.m. It's about a 2-hour drive, so we'd have to get up at 6. He goes, I think it'd be better if I went up the day before. Can you get us a hotel room so we can just drive it the day before? I was like, whoa. No, you just got to get up at 5:30 and leave at 6 and be at orientation at 8. I'm not getting you a hotel room. It was at that moment I went, red flag. This kid's good. Even the way he texted me was so smooth. I was like, this might not end well. And sure enough, he failed out. Didn't finish. I was like, I was so disappointed. I hope that kid who's now, 26, I hope he turned his life around. I hope he's doing well. I really do. I'm not going to give his name out or anything because I don't want to embarrass him, but I just was like, I was really tore up about that a little bit because I wanted him to be the first. And I thought that would open the floodgates to getting donors and getting everybody, the vision I had was you send one kid to college every year that can't afford it. and you I was paying for his, but the goal was to get enough sponsors and different donors around that we're hopefully sending more than one kid to school every year. Probably we send 3, 4, 5. That was my vision. And it didn't work out. I don't regret doing it, but it just didn't work out. We tried it. The kid just basically failed out is what he did. And, I think if he was honest with himself, he failed out without giving 100% effort. And that's what hurts the most. If you don't give 100% in anything you do, really. So, hey, this is Gary Owen. This podcast is brought to you by Blue Chew. Now, guys, wouldn't you like to walk into the room head first? And you know what head I'm talking about? That dick. Yeah, rock hard. Bring it. Boom. See how my fist hit that camera? That's how your thing's going to be doing when Blue Chew gets in you. Bow, 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 bow. That's a visual for you. So anyways, look, Blue Chews are here to help. That's their only job. It's just to help. Just to make, when that door closes, to make everybody happy when them clothes come off. All right? So listen, we got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code GETSOME at checkout. Pay $5 for shipping. That's all you got to do. So join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity 1 pound thrust at a time. Head to bluechew.com for details and safety information. And a big thanks. And as always, thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring this podcast. Get it. So anyways, another thing about my hometown. So there was a big fight that broke out in downtown Cincinnati last week. And I'm sure some of you saw it. It was a bunch of black people that beat up a white guy and then they beat up a white girl. And I never jump to conclusions when I just see the fight in progress. What led to the fight is what I'm always thinking about. Now, there has been footage of the white guy. It looked like he opened hand. It didn't look like a huge slap, but he did make contact with one of the black guys. And then there's rumors that the white guy said the N-word. And I haven't seen the video yet. I don't know. So I'm not going to say, hey, white guy calls a black guy the N-word. White guy touches a black guy. Yeah, you might get beat up. The only thing that I am 100%, doesn't matter what was said, doesn't matter what was done, was one lady was in there trying to break it up, white lady, and she got sucker punched and knocked out by a dude. And as soon as I saw that, I go, okay, that's where it's too far. Because come to find out, she was a single mom, and I don't care what she said. I don't care what was done. She wasn't a threat to anybody. She wasn't out there. You weren't worried about her at all. You just took that opportunity to sucker punch her and knock her out. And it's never okay. It wouldn't be okay if it was a white guy knocking out a black girl. It's not okay if it's a black guy knocking out a white girl. It's not okay if a black guy's knocking out a black girl or a white guy's knocking out a white girl. It's just not okay because she wasn't a threat. You're a dude. I don't even care if she said anything. There's nothing you can tell me that can justify it. And the bad part was, it was in my city, Cincinnati, downtown. Even when I saw where the fight was, I knew right where it was. I knew right where the street was. I walked down the street. Every restaurant's on that street. And Cincinnati's got a checker past with race relations. You had the cop recently that chased the black kid down after he was in a stolen car, and the black kid had a firearm on him, and the cop shot and killed him. And that was bad all the way around. And then the dad goes and kills a cop that had nothing to do with the case. And people were so ugly, just ugly, when they tried to say the dad had every right to kill an innocent cop. I'm like, no, he doesn't. What are we talking about right now? Even, God, 20-some years ago, there was a black kid that was shot by a Cincinnati cop. I think the black kid's name was Timothy Thomas, running from the police. And then he went down an alley. He was trying to get away, and he turned around, and I think his pants was sagging. He tried to pull him up, and then the cop shot him one time and killed him. And as an ex-police officer, even though it was military police, and even was though a long time ago, listen, if you're to the point, and I don't know if this was taught or told to me by one of my instructors at the police academy, if you're to the point where your gun gets pulled out, you're scared for your life. It's called an escalation of force. If okay, these walls are really thin in this hotel. I just heard everything that lady was saying. So if anybody's having sex, I can hear them talking, and they're in the room across the hall from me. Yeah, if somebody's ever having sex in this hotel, you're going to hear it. You better have quiet sex. You better be like, ah. Yeah, so my girl's coming tomorrow. I'm glad I know that now. Looks like face in the pillow time. Sorry, that was sidetracked. Like when you got kids, you're already used to having quiet sex. That ain't nothing new. Your parents know what I'm talking about. So anyways, no, the Timothy, I don't know if it was taught to me at the police academy or an instructor pulled me aside and told me, but we were going over escalation of force. And he said, look, if you're at the point where you whip your gun out, you're in fear for your life. And you don't, as people always say, you got to shoot in the leg. No. When your gun's out, it's center mass or head. It's like right here or right here. It's the only place you're aiming because you think you're going to die and it's you or them and you're shooting to kill. That's why people don't get shot in the leg by cops or they get shot in the hand. But also, if you shoot one shot and that's it, that means you were scared. Probably just as scared as being in an alley, being chased by a cop. That was a bad situation all around. Because if you're in fear for your life, you're going to unload. Pew, 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 pew. You're just going to shoot. You're firing. That's why you never hear a cop shoot one time. They're boom, 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 boom. They're shooting. So with this Timothy Thomas case 20-some years ago in Cincinnati, that cop only shot once. So right then, it never got brought up. I never heard anybody say anything about it, but the police officer was acquitted. He didn't go to jail, but he shot one time. So he was scared. That's why I really think that cop thought Timothy Thomas had a gun, and I really think he was in fear for his life. I don't think it was racially motivated. This instance wasn't. I don't think it was racially motivated. I don't think there was an agenda on his part. I think he was generally scared. And let me tell you something. As a cop in the military who had to one time, and only one time, I had to take my weapon out. My brain was like, everything goes to your brain when your gun comes out. You're like, escalation of force. Am I justified in this? Am I thinking correctly? Is my life really in danger? It's an adrenaline rush, but it's also, it's so scary. Even when you're putting your gun back in your holster, when you finally settle down and get back in your patrol car or wherever you go, you just like, when you take a second, you're by yourself. At least it was for me. My heart is just coming through my chest and you're just, and it's just reality's kicking in. Like, oh my God, I could have just died. It's, I can't explain it unless you've done it. And it's funny because you go to the police academy and they tell you most police officers never pull their weapon out, at least in the military. You never pull your weapon out. You'll go through your whole career and probably never pull your weapon out. And the fact that I had to do it once, I was like, I'm so glad I never had to pull the trigger. I'm so glad as soon as my weapon came out, the situation got de-escalated so fast. But I was just like, even when you pull it out, you're thinking, am I allowed to pull it out right now? Am I supposed to be pulling this out? Did I miss something? Is my life in danger? If I shoot, am I going to be justified? Am I going to go to jail? It's it's a mind fuck. It is. So I just hate that. One, I hated my city's got a past like that between, oh my God, the Timothy Thomas cakes back in like 2000. And then recently the guy killing the cop because a cop killed his son. And now this racially thing happened in Cincinnati. Because listen, any major city is going to have crime. In any major city, you're going to have issues when you're dealing with lower income people. Whether it's trailer park white, whether it's Latino, whether it's black, when you're dealing with lower income people, it comes with its own set of problems. Just because probably the education isn't as good as it should be, hope isn't as good as it should be, whatever their surroundings, their environment is not like conducive to success. Legal success, I should say. We were talking about that. I did Rory and Mal's podcast, and we were talking about the difference between trailer park ghetto and black ghetto. And I said, trailer park's got all the issues that the ghetto has. We just don't have the gun violence. We shoot ourselves. We don't shoot other people. We commit suicide. I bet the suicide rate in lower income white areas is a lot higher than black. I would guess. We'll shoot ourselves. I remember when I was in a trailer park, the guy across the street, 2 trailers down, tried to commit suicide, and he put the gun here. Why would you put it here? He put it here, and I guess he missed because it went boop, boop, and went out his cheek. Went right through his bottom of his mouth and went out his cheek, and he survived. And he had to come back a couple days later, and he had the big bandage all over. His head was all bandaged, but this was all. And I was just like, how did you miss? You didn't want to live, and you missed? And just the pain itself, teeth getting knocked out, your jaw half blown off and everything. I'm just going, God. You don't want to say double loser, but dude, right there, right in the ear. Bing. If you want to go that route. Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference. I think they're listening to me. Hold on. They're not. Dude, these walls are thin as shit in this hotel. The guy sounded like he was in my room. Dude, come on. I thought he was saying, come on, listen to him. So, yeah, that's the biggest difference I see between like growing up in a trailer park and then hearing black guys talk about growing up in the ghetto. I was like, wait, we did that. We had drug addicts. We had drug problems. We got government cheese. We got powder milk. It was funny. I'm like, it's all the same issues. Broke is broke. You know, we come from broken homes. We have a lot of people getting pregnant as teenagers. Our daddies aren't around. And if they are, they ain't shit. It's pretty much identical. Just white people are in a trailer. If black people are in Section 8, we have guns, but we shoot ourselves with them. Black people shoot other people. That's the only difference I see is the gun violence towards other people. Like we have gun violence, we're committing suicide. We're killing ourselves. We're not killing other people. That's really the only difference I see. I do think black people in the ghetto are more fashionable than white guys in a trailer park that are broke. They gonna have the new Jordans. We don't have that. So yeah, I think the biggest difference is black people are more fashionable and gun violence is worse. Other than that, all the problems are the same. All the generational curses are the same. It's pretty much the same. Yeah. So anyways, look, I'm in New York. I got a busy week. Football's back. To all you Bengal fans out there, tonight is the first night we're playing the Eagles. Joe Burrow's actually going to play a couple series. They say he looks locked in. I just want Trey to come back. Or Shamar Stewart is balling his ass off. The dumbest holdout in the history of holdouts. I still say his agent. You stood on that high horse. That was not a smart move. I'm not saying you're not a smart agent. I say you're not a smart one in that one. Look, my manager, I've had her for 20 years. She's given me some good advice and she gave me some bad advice. You just gave Shamar some bad advice. I would own it at this point. Be like, look, you probably should have been in earlier. But that's water under the bridge. I hear Shamar Stewart's balling right now against the offensive line, and hopefully he pushes Miles Murphy to get better, and hopefully his defense is better than last. Well, it can't be any worse than last year. Hopefully it will be better. But I'm just excited football's back, baby. Football is back. Yeah. So anyways, hopefully I'll be sharing the great news here in the next couple weeks. Whenever that announcement is made, you'll hear it here first on the podcast. I'll just put it like this. It brought me to tears, this phone call, in a good way. So you can speculate all you want what it is, but there'll be an announcement in the near future, and I can't even believe it. I can't even wrap my brain around that phone call. I'll be honest with you. It was a culmination of why I got into the entertainment business and just, I don't know, just being funny and doing it the right way. I think I've done this the right way my whole career. I don't think I've ever burned anybody. I don't think I've ever done anybody wrong professionally, Now, my ex-wife could call and be like, yeah, you did some shit wrong. Okay, I'll take that hit. But professionally, working-wise, I don't think I ever did anybody wrong. So anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully I can make that announcement. If not, oh well. And hopefully this is a quiet week in Cincinnati. Let's just all work to get better. I don't want to say let's all get along. Let's just all just chill. Let's not fight. No sucker punching women. I don't care what she said. I could care less. She was not a threat to anybody. That was the biggest thing I took out of that fight, was when that dude sucker punched that lady. That was some bullshit. I don't care what was said. I don't care what was done. There was nothing to justify that, because that was violent. That was ugly. And whoever put the camera in her face afterwards, you're a piece of shit too. You didn't try to help. I ain't saying jump in and start fighting the guy that hit her, because then you could get jumped too. Because I know when you're dealing with a lot of people and a lot of emotions are high, self-preservation comes in there. I can imagine. But what I am saying is, if a lady gets knocked out and your first thing is to put your phone and make fun of her, that's a piece of shit move. That's all it is. So, all right, we see y'all next week. This is Gary Owen with the Get Something Podcast. Go Bengals.
This motherfucker Gary.